And church, church, I mean, I'm telling you that this is 10 years. 10 years of war. 10 years of public shame. 10 years without a boy knowing his father. 10 years of lack of love. 10 years of bitterness, of hatred, everything just dissolved in front of my child. And I found my child holding my hands because I was crying. He held my hands and I was just praying for his father. I prayed for that man. I prayed for that man. You don't understand because, I mean, presidents and ex-presidents have interfered. I said no. I said no because of how bitter I had been. I've come here to tell you that the first time I said that I will burn the bridge. If you are coming, I will bomb you. It was not a lie. That was one bridge I bombed. That was one bridge I couldn't just take. That was one bridge I had so much bitterness and anger towards. Immediately, everything just broke down. Church, I see myself addressing my ex-husband as he should be addressed. Before I would have put one derogatory sentence or something added to his name. I respect him now. We are talking like we are friends. I see myself forgiving. You see, the biggest testimony in this life is of a changed soul.
Welcome back, guys. In a moment that shocked many Nigerians online, Tonto Dikeh stood before a church congregation and made a statement nobody expected after years of public accusations, bitter court cases, and emotional online battles. The actress said something that stopped social media in its tracks. She said, "I have forgiven my ex-husband. We are now friends." This testimony was shared during a church service led by Pastor Jerry Eze, founder of the popular prayer movement known as the New Prophetic Prayers and Declarations, often called NSPPD. But the big question many people are asking is this: what really changed after all these years? And is this true healing or just another chapter in a very complicated story? To understand why this testimony went viral, we need to go back. Tonto Dikeh married businessman Olakunle Churchill in 2015. At the time, the marriage looked like a fairy tale. But that fairy tale did not last because by 2017, the marriage had completely broke down. What followed was one of the most public celebrity divorces Nigeria has seen. There were serious allegations, claims of domestic abuse, accusations of infidelity, drug use allegations, and a long, painful custody battle over their son. For years, the conflict played out in public. Instagram posts, interviews, court documents, and sometimes very direct accusations. At some point, communication between both parties just broke down almost completely, especially when it came to co-parenting their child.
Know that it was time for me to talk to my son about who his father was. And the truth is, I tell you, before me, you, and God, I have never spoken a word, whether it was a bad word, whether it was a good word, about my son's father to him. I have never spoken about a man or nothing. In fact, he doesn't even know anything. So I sat him down one day and I told him, I said, "Have you ever wondered where your dad is?"
For many people, watching from the outside, reconciliation felt impossible. The wound looked too deep, and anger looked too loud. The history felt too heavy, which is why this testimony surprised so many people, including myself. Standing before the congregation, Tonto did not speak as a celebrity, but she spoke as a woman who said she had been broken, humbled, and rebuilt. She explained that forgiveness did not come from therapy, it did not come from public pressure, and it did not come from pretending the pain never happened. According to her, forgiveness came after a personal spiritual encounter, a moment where she realized that holding on to anger was hurting her more than the person she was angry with. Listen to that again. She said she reached a point where bitterness no longer felt powerful. It just felt exhausting. And for the sake of her peace, her mind, her well-being, mental well-being, and the sake of her child, she chose to let go. Then came the sentence that shook the internet. She also said, "We are now friends." Now, it's important to clarify that she did not say that they are getting back together. She did not deny the pain of the past. And she did not say that everything that had happened was acceptable. What she described was emotional release, forgiveness, not as reunion, but forgiveness as freedom. In her words, forgiving allowed her to communicate calmly, to co-parent better, and to finally stop carrying years of resentment that had weighed her down emotionally. And this distinction matters because forgiveness does not always mean access. It does not mean trust is automatically restored. And it definitely doesn't mean that the past is erased. It simply means choosing peace over poison. As expected, social media reacted immediately. Some people applauded her. They called it maturity. They called it growth. They called it spiritual strength. Others were deeply skeptical. They questioned the timing. They questioned whether forgiveness should be public when the trauma was public. And some worried about the pressure faith spaces sometimes place on women to let go before they are ready. A larger conversation began to unfold. Should forgiveness always be encouraged publicly? Does forgiving mean healing has fully happened? And who really benefits when reconciliation stories go viral? What Tonto Dikeh testimony has done, whether you agree with it or not, is reopen an important conversation. A conversation about healing, about boundaries, about faith, and about co-parenting after deep emotional damage. Because healing does not look the same for everyone. Sometimes healing is loud, sometimes it is quiet, and sometimes healing is simply choosing not to bleed anymore. So the question now goes to you. Do you believe public forgiveness is empowering or pressure-filled? Can exes truly become friends after deep betrayal? And where should the line be drawn between healing and self-protection? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like this video. Share it with someone who needs this conversation. And subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories about love, healing, and life under the spotlight. Thank you.